It is a rainy day here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, so I'm spending some quality time in the Dandy garage where I'm about to change the battery on a 2022 Chrysler Pacifica. I'll give you a better look at that. There you go. Anyway, modern cars. I don't love them. And I don't love them because everything on them is complicated. And I think a lot of that's by design. I don't think people are actually asking for all these features. Like every time I touch a door handle, every light in the freaking car comes on like a circus. And it's ridiculous. And no wonder you have to use a gigantic special battery in this, but that's what we're dealing with. Anyway, we're gonna swap out this failed, oversized, overly complicated battery, and I'm gonna show you how to do it with nothing more than a 10 millimeter extension on a socket and a poker outer. Yeah, that's what I call this. I call this a poker outer. Actually, it's a piece of it's a screwdriver from a multi-tool when the multi-tool fell apart, and I just keep that around. It comes in handy. All right, let's get dandy. Right, here is our new battery right here. And I want to point out something very important on here, and you've got to have this. I know because I just had to run back to the auto parts store to get it. That right there, AGM. You must use an AGM battery on this vehicle because it handles all the different stuff the vehicle does, and a standard battery just won't. You'll get electronic problems. Things just aren't going to work right if you don't use an AGM. And I found that out through my research, and after them selling me a standard battery, I was trying to save the company a few bucks. This isn't my vehicle, it's a vehicle I work in, and now I'm working on. But I was trying to save them a few bucks, and what did I get? I had to make a special trip back to swap it out for an AGM battery. Yay! Alright, anyway, let's pop the hood and see what's going on. Alright, finding the little release thing. Okay, there we go. The battery is under here. And you've got this air intake right here, and that's got to come up and off. All you do is just kind of lift it up in the front, kind of shove it in a little bit, and it comes right out. You just set that aside. And so we have our negative terminal, and there's a little extra thing plugged into there, and that's for the automatic start-stop. At least that's my understanding. You want to leave that attached. You've got an auxiliary battery right here next to the main battery for your automatic start-stop. We're going to try to get this battery out without removing that. I've seen it done in a video. I'm hoping I can do it as well. But here on the positive side, if you ever need to jump off your vehicle, here's the post right here. You just lift up this, here, you just lift this thing up right here. You've got a post under there, and you just attach your little starter thingy right to there, and then the other to the negative like you normally would. But look how much more complicated this is. There's just all kinds of different doodads in there. And then you've got all this going on here. And you're gonna have to pop these little connectors out of here. You've got three little things that run something, I don't know, and you've got to bring them out of here. Down there, you've got the clip that keeps the battery steady. So we're going to do all that right now. We're going to start with our negative terminal here. Right here. We're just going to loosen this up and set it aside. Actually, it'd probably be a good idea to wrap something around that so it doesn't make connection anywhere. Now let's see, this is an interstate battery in here, and I'm going to bet you that it's not an AGM battery. I can almost guarantee it's not. So somebody put the wrong kind of battery in here, but I mean, who would know? I guess you could look in the manual, but who reads the manual? Here, I've got a towel here that I use for various things around the shop. I'll just wrap that around and kind of put that to the side here. Make sure it's not touching or grounding anywhere. All right. All right. Now for the positive. keep things moving in the positive here. Yeah, it's a Stevie Wonder song. We'll be jamming into the break of dawn. Don't have to take the nut off completely. Just kind of loosen it up there. And I need my poker outer, and I'm not completely sure how to poke out these things. Okay, you've got to remove these three little things right here so you can take the whole assembly off. Otherwise, it's just not going to go far enough for you to wiggle the battery out. And you're going to have to depress right in here as you push back. So I'll depress with one hand and pull out with the other, not by the wires. And that's how we're going to get those three there. So it's white, purple, black. I think I might need another screwdriver in here as well, kind of help finagle that thing out of there. We're going to actually use two different screwdrivers. One to kind of push down the clip, and it is pushed down, and the other one to just kind of back it out of there. There we go. We have one backed out. We'll just start by backing them out, and we'll worry about removing them here in a second. That one's unclipped, and that one's unclipped. We got this whole circuit board thingy up and off, and the only thing really keeping it there should be these three wires. Well, you got the main terminal on the board that's still holding on. Okay. You have your main terminal holding it on right there. So you've got your main wire coming in right there, and then there's right next, the thing I loosen just unhooks it from the battery. So now I should be able to move this aside. And it's not quite like the videos I watched, is it? It's not quite as simple as they make it out to be, and it just sort of never is it? It never is as simple as the guy on YouTube says it's going to be. I show you how to remove your battery. You have to change your battery yourself. No problem, easy peasy. Okay, well, I've come to the conclusion that my only real solution here is to take off these other terminals as well and just free this box up from its captive state. If I can get my tool to sit in there. You know, in my old van, the tools just sat there real nice. Nothing is easy on these things. It's just an absolute pain in the butt. Okay, well, these should only go back one way here. All right, so we got that off, and it looks like this would only go back one way. And they've made it at least so that it can only go back one way. I can just kind of set my nuts in this groove over here, so I think that's what I'll do. It's good to keep your nuts in order. Unfortunately, this is turning out to be a little more complicated than I bargained for. But there's just not enough cable going to this box in order for me to have the playroom to move it around and take it where I want. Let's take this one off too. It's just powering too much stuff. All right, got that out. We're gonna set it aside. You may not have to do that in your vehicle. Last thing we need to do is we need to go after that bolt right there and the bracket that holds it in place. And I hope I've got enough extension here to make that happen. I think I do. And I do. Just enough extension. So I just worked and eventually the bolt came right out in my hand. I'm going to set that right up there. And I think there's a bracket that's holding this thing in place. It's down in the tray. The bracket's down in the tray, and you kind of reach down there and you grab it out. Now let's see if we can get this battery out. Now, I've seen some people take this bar. There's a bar that runs across here. I've seen one guy take that bar out. There's a 10 millimeter bolt here and two in the back. I've also saw another guy that lifted this up and kind of took the whole battery and tilted it this way and was able to get it up. So, well, because I'd like to not take the auxiliary battery out, the one that runs the stupid start-stop feature. But let's see what we do here. Let's see what we can do here. Wow, we've got it up. Can I finagle this thing out of here without having to take out the other battery? Oh, it's catching on the lip of the other battery. I may have to take that other battery out, and that really sucks. No, it's catching there. So what I'm going to do, instead of taking the other battery out, I think I am going to remove this stupid bar. That way I can just leave the other battery in place and lift this straight up. So to remove the stupid bar, which is what I'm now officially calling this thing, I'm going to take the 10 millimeter right here, and this is why they say it's when you go to buy the battery, they say it's professional installation only, and this is exactly why, because it's just too much stuff to deal with there in the auto parts store parking lot. So if you get a dead battery and you go to an auto parts store and you have a Chrysler Pacifica, they're not dropping the battery in for you. They'll test it, they'll tell you what the problem is, and I'm thankful for that. I'm glad that they were able to pinpoint that it was indeed a bad battery. But they ain't putting this thing in for you. Another reason to hate vehicles like this. And while I'm undoing that with that hand, I'm going to start on these 10 millimeter bolts with the other. I just don't want to mess with the other battery. I don't want to take it out because I just installed that one the other day and I just don't feel like messing with it. A couple of 10 mil bolts right here next to the fuse box. All right, now this idiot bar should come right out. There's something kind of clipped to it, and you just kind of unhook it. Okay, now with the idiot bar out of the way, I should just be able to lift the battery straight up and out. All right, there it goes. Be sure to take that back for the core, to get the core. And put our new battery in, a Super Start Platinum from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Oh, wow. Hey, let's have a look at this. Look at all that moisture down there. That is not good. I don't know if that's battery acid or water. We've had a lot of rains, but that's a lot. How is water getting up in there? Well, I'm going to use my my shop vac down here before I go any further and suck that up. Fine, fine, fine. Well, that's a whole lot better after hitting it with my shop vac. And I'll take a rag and I will get down. I'll get down in there with a rag and kind of get that a little better before I put it back together. But also I was noticing here in the air box, in the air intake, there's some sediment down there as well. As long as I've got my shop vac out, I'll get that too. All right, I vacuumed that out and that's a whole lot better. I think I can live with that for right now. So anyway, let's get this battery in. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave the little protective covers on the post just for right now while I set this down in there. There we go, and kind of bring the insulation back up around it there. And there, it's sat back down in there real nicely. We'll put the stupid bar back on in a moment. And maybe after this is all done, since it's Saturday, I might actually go to the stupid bar. So we got our circuit board here. And I think what I'll do first, well, you've got to take the covers off the posts, of course. Just be able to use a screwdriver and just pop that up and off. There we go. Maybe put that on the old battery. That way it's nice and safe while I'm transporting it. Tell you what, I'll leave the post on the negative until I'm ready to reattach that. That way I don't have any unfortunate accidents. We do not want unfortunate accidents. While we're here, let's very scientifically blow all this stuff out. Yeah, look, that's what a positive post to a battery looks like these days. Is that ridiculous or what? Only 2 posts that connect, and the third one has nothing on it. It says 150 and it had nothing connected to it. So I don't know what's up with that, but I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm glad they only go back one way, otherwise I would have just connected this thing up wrong. Just snug, you don't want to kill it. This is all going into a plastic chassis. So just remember that. And now we're going to put back in our 3 little pigs, plug back in my 3 wires for whatever the heck they go to. I do not know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm not going to care enough to know, because I don't. Okay. There you go, a little further down than I thought. Okay, there we go. Those are all reattached. So now back onto that positive post. We are buttoned up here on the positive post. So much so that I am going to go ahead and close the cover and call that part done. I'm going to reattach our thingamabobber here. There's 2 notches here, and they align with the wall of the battery tray. The smooth end you would think would go up for aesthetics, but it doesn't. The smooth end goes down. It goes in the battery tray, and that ridge goes down into the tray. These fit into little notches on the tray, and it's actually the honeycomb side that goes up. And it'll just drop right into place when you get it positioned correctly. And then we can go ahead and put in our bolt. I've got the grabber on the battery now, and it's nice and secure. All that's left to do is to take the negative post and reattach it. Attach that down into place here. And then we're going to go see if this piece of over-engineered ridiculousness will start up. I didn't hear any honking or anything that would indicate that I now have a brand new fresh connection and that we're all good to go. I'm a little concerned about that. Normally you get like a little honk, something that kind of makes you jump out of your skin a little bit. Moment of truth has arrived. Let's go see if this thing starts up. Well, we have the dashboard lit. We've got lights on, and yeah, those lights come on every time you sneeze in this van, which is highly annoying, at least to me. Let's see what happens when I try to start her up here. Push button start. Started like a charm. Okay, well, I think I found out where all that water was coming from. See, there's the vent port right there. That's where fumes vent, and you can see water all down the side right there. I've got it on its side right now. My guess is that battery boiled. It got too hot and it boiled, and thankfully didn't melt up and then just spewed the water out of it right down. So yeah, I'd say that battery is bad. Right there, we're putting out our 14.5 volts. Let's see if it'll give us a battery voltage reading when I turn it off. It does not. Of course it doesn't, because why would it give you information you actually want and can use? And that is how to change your battery in a 2022 Chrysler Pacifica. I'm going to go enjoy my Saturday. Stay dandy.